Hey guys, it's Jason, and this is episode 1 of Cryptocurrencies Podcast. Now, basically, I'm kind of still trying to decide how I want to do this podcast, but the idea of it is basically I'm going to be covering all the cryptocurrencies from Bitcoin to Feathercoin to Litecoin, all the way down to some of the unknown or very, very cheap alternate or cryptocurrencies, and kind of just giving a general view of how they're all doing and what we seem to think is going to happen, as well as news and information, I guess, on the graphs and everything that are presented to us as a viewer. So, bear with me. This first episode, I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see. So, today, actually, in the early morning, we had Bitcoin hit over $1,000 mark, which is quite incredible. It's strange because I can remember back to when, riding the bus, if that makes sense, they went out there, and checking on the Bitcoin app on my ride home. I remember seeing it hit $2.56, and thinking, man, there's no way it's ever going to go up higher than this. I missed out when it was at $1. and now I look at it, I think right now it's Bitcoin, it's at like 1,070 right now. Yeah, 1,040 right now. Its max is 1,073, and it blows you away that Bitcoin is worth this much money. Here recently I just did a video for YouTube about how it surpassed the $10.1 billion market cap, which is starting to put it up there with some of the middle range corporations on stock exchange sites like the Nasdaq, which is quite interesting. A Bitcoin, still people are deciding whether it is a commodity or a currency. And that's kind of a debate inside even the Bitcoin community, whether they, do they see Bitcoin as a currency or do they see it as a commodity? And it's quite interesting because people want to call it a currency, but they treat it as an investment, portfolio as you would a commodity. And that's quite, intriguing and interesting to look into. As of right now, Bitcoin's actually going up. And it's interesting on bitcoinity.org on the market section, you'll notice, when it freezes, it will say in the lag time, sometimes you'll see it go up to 4 or 5 minutes, even though, you're only at a, 30 or 40 second time span. So it's just an estimated, lag engine variance time, I guess is what you could call it. So, Bitcoin is always going to be that number one cryptocurrency, but, people are always asking, and this is big on the forums right now, especially in the alternate currencies subsection of the forum, what is the next huge cryptocurrency? And, way back in March, this was a huge debate, and I was in a lot of the forums, and I don't really like posting responses, but I, I read a lot in the forums. Even though my forum user thing, I have 4 days on my forum account right now, but trust me, I read it for like 2 years before I even made an account. But, people were debating what is going to be the next big coin. People looked at it as, oh man, Bitcoin's at $20, I missed out. I want to jump on the next cryptocurrency train. And this was kind of interesting. People were calling out Litecoin at the time. And I think this was around April, March-ish. And people were saying, oh, Litecoin's it was like 8 or 10 cents at the time, and then it jumped up to $1. And people were going crazy. Oh man, I missed the second train. I missed the second big cryptocurrency. And now, BTC-E, we are looking at $30 right now. Which is remarkable. Seeing how literally 2 nights ago. Well, actually, this blows you away. Last night, and this is remarkable for me. Last night I did a video talking. I think I did it around 4:00 p.m. And I did a video about how Bitcoin has. Or not Bitcoin, Litecoin, or I think it's Litecoin. People get so pissed off at me because I always say Litecoin instead of Litecoin, and it's just kind of one of those stupid things you do in your head. But I talked about how it was $16. It just surpassed $16, and I kid you not, I edited the 12 or 13 videos last night, and they're all currently uploading. Because right now I don't have a computer. Mine crashed in September, and I'm waiting to get one for Black Friday, this upcoming Friday. And, kid you not, it blows me away. Litecoin's at $30. And $30. And I used to tell people used to ask me about Litecoin. And I used to say, for the quick range, I don't think it's ever going to go around $12. Now, in the video, I say, $16 is an extreme price, and yet it blows your mind, how quickly Litecoin can go up. And one of the things that scares me with this huge increase in price, increase, one of the things that makes you wonder, well, excuse me, guys. Sorry, I was kind of rudely interrupted while I was doing a podcast. Not very good for the first start off. But I was talking about the Litecoin price and how it was at $31 right now. And it is quite remarkable. I was talking about how it scares me because I don't see any real movement or development behind the coin. There's constant updates. There's a good development team. Don't get me wrong, they have a good website. They have a good, easy impression on people that don't know what Litecoin is. Or Litecoin. Gosh, I always call it Litecoin. But it worries me because I don't hear too much news. And I feel like people are just throwing money at coins. I talk about this in my videos, and they don't know they don't know the value that it really truly holds. And you see this in corporations all the time. You'll see that, companies that are like Tesla. This is a great example. Tesla, it's way overpriced right now, and people look at it and they keep bringing the price up. And even Elon Musk, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, he even said, hey, look, my company is way overvalued. I don't see how it has this much potential value for the designs and the patents that we hold. And it's true. People in the stock market greatly overvalue or undervalue companies. And that can sometimes be an issue. So that's what worries me about Litecoin. One thing I will say for Litecoin, oh my gosh. One thing that really has Litecoin that really impresses me is their market cap, their BTC market cap. And I'm using dustcoin.com right now for this. And they literally, Saturday, so 4 days ago, was at 300,000? Yeah, 300,000. And now they're at 766,000. They went from being 1% of Bitcoin's value to 6% in over 4 days. Which is truly remarkable. And people ask me, what do you think's going on here? And I can almost tell you exactly what's going on with a pretty high chance of being correct, is that people see Bitcoin. Some people have made money with Bitcoin. Some people made, a couple times over their money. And they're looking to expand that monetary, assessment, that monetary gain, if you call it. And they're investing in these cryptocurrencies. I always talk about to people when they're in the emails I do. People ask me, they ask me for investing advice. I don't really give financial advice just because I don't want to feel like I'm held responsible for helping people or hurting people, I guess is my fear. But I will say one thing that I have learned greatly against doing, and I've hurt myself 4 times doing this, is I've invested in mining corporations. The first time I invested in a corporation that I ended up losing some money on, which I haven't really put too much money into Bitcoin. Then I did a company, and the value went down because the ASIC boards and FPGA boards came out. And then there was a couple corporations that, when GLBSE got shut down, it hurt terribly. BTC.TC or whatever the website is just got shut down. One of the things about these mining contracts or mining, share investments, it's very risky, and you think 4 times, fool me 4 times, you'd be stupid, but, at the time, the return rate was humongous. It was like a 40, anywhere between 20 and 40% return on investment a year. And when you're looking at a CD, because, I used to be really big into, bank CDs and bank investments, and they were at, they were only at probably, I was getting 1 or 2% a year, and so that was very, very attractive as a financial investment. And now, when you look at a cryptocurrency, and I have, talking about my videos, I have pages, and I have notepads full of information that I'll probably never really get use out of because the information is so overly informative. But, I've called out some of these coins. I said, back, and it kills me because I told everybody PPC coin, or now is it called Pure Coin, was going to do really, really well. I bought 1 Bitcoin's worth when it was at 12 cents, and now it's at what is it right now, $3 I believe, $3.50, and it's one of those things where cryptocurrencies, maybe they're just a petition of pump and dump, or maybe they're extremely valuable right now, and nobody really knows. And that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. A lot of people feel like Bitcoin, is to the point where investing in it, people don't understand this concept of buying, parts of it, buying 0.1 Bitcoins. People don't like that. Like, they like to hold a round number. Just as if when Bitcoin on the price, if you notice at complete regular numbers like 1,000 or 900, you have a larger market hold, meaning, there's a more money line. And I'm going to try to explain this better. If you go to like bitcoinity.org, and of course you go to the market part, you'll notice that there's two charts, and on the chart on the bottom, it will show you kind of like basically how much money has to be put into Bitcoin for the price to change to this price, or how much money has to be taken out of Bitcoin for it to drop to this price. And one of the things you'll notice is that all of the round numbers, be that 95, 1,000, those numbers, you'll notice that there's huge buy walls or sell walls. That was the name I was looking for, buy or sell walls. Like, if you look right here, I'm going to look this up. To get, from 1,050 to, 1,900 or 1,099 is not very difficult. But there's a huge, huge wall of almost $2 million right at 1,100. And this holds back the price. People like these round numbers. It's a mental, physiological breakdown in the brain. Even I'm guilty of it. I do it myself. So it's a problem, and you gotta realize that when you're investing. So people look at Bitcoin, they look at the price, and they say, "Oh my gosh, a lot of people I talk to, they're like, man, dude, I don't have $1,000 to invest. I have $100. I try to explain them to buy parts of Bitcoin, and people are just like, that doesn't sound good with me. So then I always lead them into alternate currencies, because I usually try to stray people away from the mining contracts, because I've myself got screwed over so many times by them. And the value return rate is just not as high. But there are some cryptocurrencies that are doing extremely well right now. One of the ones that I'm really skeptical of, but I will note, is Novacoin and WorldCoin. Both of those, I said never would they go past a certain point, and they have exceeded that. Novacoin is at a market cap of 12,600 right now, which is remarkably high for anything that even I predicted. It blows me away. Sorry, I was taking a drink. And one of the things that blows you away because of it is, here, I'll see. Last night I tried to get on their website, the official Novacoin website, and it didn't load. It literally did not load. And I'm just sitting there. I did a video about it last night, because I'm just like, how are people valuing this coin if the website itself won't even load? It's lagging right now. Not my computer, but I think trying to... Yeah. Novacoin.org. Domain not configured. Wikipedia Foundation. You know what I mean? So it's one... And it blows me away. People are investing in this. It's idiot. I don't want to go so far to say it's an idiotic decision, but it's a decision that I would not personally invest in. Although people are making money on it. People have been pumping it up the last day, and you can see huge sell-offs. And so some people are making a lot of money on Novacoin, and other people are looking at the price and saying, "Oh, it's increasing. I got to get into this." And I don't understand why people are so advocate to just jump on board a ship that might go up, but it's going to crash. You know what I mean? It's going to crash soon enough. At least I assume. That's just my opinion. So, there are some coins that are interesting. I always love when people ask me about coins like BBQ coin, barbecue coin, or just some of the stupid coins that I don't want to call them stupid, but I almost feel they were made for a joke, but yet their value is so high. It blows me away. People are throwing money at crypto coins right now, and so that's one of the things. I'm working on a system right now. And basically, it's a way to devise the cryptocurrencies in a 3-tier system. And of course, as we all know, Bitcoin would be a tier 3, obviously. But trying to figure out what is how do you do a tier system when Bitcoin is a stable, increase in so many coins, and so are the other coins. They're increasing over a set period of time, or most of them at least. But the value keeps increasing. So I've been working on this, and it's kind of a difficult situation because I want to be very, very accurate with it. But I expect in a few weeks to have that completely figured out. And basically, in my videos, I'll start calling crypto coins by their tier system as well. So you can kind of judge and say, oh, well, Litecoin is a tier 3 coin. It must be pretty good. And it would be, not just on value and everything, but on the development team, the website, the reliability, the, futuristic outlook of the coin, all those combined into one. But I know a lot of people have been asking about the smaller coins, so even though this is just a podcast, I'll kind of just break some of them down. I found another website this morning that kind of broke down the coins and gave me even a price value in USD, which I'm going to start using, but I don't have the link with me right now. So I'll just talk about some of the ones on dustcoin.com, and some of them are quite interesting. Coins, I remember I actually looked into mining, the MIN coin or mine coin, and it's actually doing pretty well. It's not the best. It's actually, yesterday was and today it's also, they're both at the very bottom, and that scares me because I don't understand how coins like that, but I digress. Coins like Devcoin, people seem to either love or hate, and I know in a couple of my videos I talked about worrying about what coin you're going to get involved in. And me and my dad get into this because we talk about the stock market. I'm one of those type of investors that I only invest, and of course I don't have very much money to invest, but if I theoretically did, I would invest in companies that have, low debt, that have very optimistic, future product lines, that have a good, leadership, a good board of directors, which means also who owns the other shares, and issues like that. How much fat do they really have on their company? Do they, watch what they sell, or they're just trying to get products out there? Things like that. And then there's those investors in the stock market that say, hey, I'm going to just divvy up all this money to all these different companies. And the likelihood of one or two of those companies doing really well, it'll make up for all the loss I make in all the other companies. And there's those two dynamic different ways of investing. And it seems like in the crypto coin market, that's what a lot of people do. They do that, just throw money at every single coin and you'll do good. And even though I'm against that, I'll be honest, if a month ago you would have took like 100 Bitcoins, which would be like 100 grand, so that's a lot of money. But if you would have took 100 Bitcoins and divvied up like 7 or 8 to each cryptocurrency coin, you'd probably have about $1 million right now. And that's remarkable. A 10 times return on a broad scheme investment on kind of a no-look, throw money type style. That's pretty good. It's even some better than some of my predictions. In accounting classes and general business classes in high schools, what they do is they'll do fake stock markets, meaning they'll give you, I think it's like $20,000 in fake money, of course, and they have you play it against the real market. And you started at the very beginning of the semester, and then at the end of the semester, you get it back, and whoever made the most money, gets the good grade or whatever, or maybe gets a prize or something from the teacher. And I kind of do that with all the cryptocurrencies. I kind of value, if I would have put, X amount of money in, this is the return rate on this many months, and it's quite interesting and intriguing to kind of do. And I'll be honest, like, even if I would have invested in PPC coin, a couple months ago when it was lower, 60 cents or whatever, you'd make I think it was actually 40 cents, you'd make a profit. But throwing coins like a Prime coin, which I was kind of hesitant on, even though it's such a good coin, development team's good, those coins did a lot better. So sometimes it's just that blind investment scheme type thing that does better, because one of the hardest parts is trying to predict how well or how accurate other investors research before they throw money at a coin. And that's quite an intriguing way to look at things. You look at it as, well, how is the other, 90% of investors viewing this coin? Are they really looking at it on an analytic approach? Or are they looking at it as, hey, look, the price just went up 5%, I'm going to jump on board type of approach? And that's one of those really, really interesting things. And actually, I'll do a comment. I just got an email or not an email, but a text from one of my best friends. Well, pretty much best friend. One of my friends, Caleb. And he just texted me and said, hey, man, I just saw on Reddit's homepage, Bitcoin just hit $1,000 per Bitcoin. And he's asking me about it. And it's a thing people are starting to hear about. You know, I talk about in one of my videos, I was in a class last year, current events, and we didn't do anything in that class. But he would take us to the computer lab and we watched the CNN Student Report News videos. And they were quite interesting. They never spoke of Bitcoin ever. And you want to know the one time they talked about Bitcoin is when it went from like $264 and collapsed down to like $60. That's when they talk about Bitcoin. They talk about, oh, the Bitcoin, there's such awesome Bitcoin that everyone talks about has just failed. And I don't think it failed. It just, people overvalued it. I mean, people are saying right now that Bitcoin's overvalued. They're saying that all the crypto coins are overvalued. I don't know. You know, you got to realize how much money people are pumping into the Bitcoin system right now. You know, even people that you would never suspect that know anything about cryptocurrencies, that, you know, I'm getting people email me that aren't just, you know, computer tech people, that, you know, by that I mean that are into computers and into the cryptology type stuff, and they're asking me, you know, I invest in the stock market, can you tell me about this? And I think that's one of the things I really love about doing these videos and doing these, you know, other things where I talk to people, is for the most part on YouTube, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about Bitcoin, but for the most part, I'm the one that kind of, what I've been quoted as being the most professional looking, you know, even though I'm a student still, which a lot of people kind of take note that that's a bad thing. A lot of people look at me and say, well, hey, look, this person, you know, they've called things out right, and people look at that as a positive, and I feel like that kind of earns me a little cred to kind of give people advice, even though I don't give financial advice. I just say, well, hey, here's what the coins offer, you know, the information behind it, and this is what I think. You know, there was one interesting article, oh man, I wish I could, I think his name is Sun God. He's the creator of PrimeCoin and PureCoin, which are both incredible coins. He's a very intelligent guy, probably, I would say, just one step down from Satoshi. I literally think so. I think he's probably smarter and more intelligent. I'm gonna get people pissed off at me for saying this, but then the guy that will invite the people that envisioned and created Litecoin. I know people are going to disagree with that, but that's my personal preference on the guy. But anyway, he was interviewed by the New York Times for an article where they talked about PureCoin in the New York Times financial section. And to me, that's a very, very important step, because it's not just, you know, Bitcoin, it's Litecoin, it's, you know, PureCoin, it's PrimeCoin, it's Namecoin, it's Feathercoin, it's all these bigger coins. They're starting recognition. And that's good. That's good for Bitcoin. It's good for, well, it's better for cryptocurrencies. You know, obviously this podcast is going to be cryptocurrencies. But, you know, just like anything, competition's good. You know, Bitcoin is not the best at everything. Neither is Litecoin, neither is PPC coin, neither is PrimeCoin. They all have these advantages. Just like PureCoin has an advantage that if you store them and you don't send them, you keep them in your wallet, you get interest. You know, where Bitcoin's more of a commerce type thing, but you're spending, I think now it's like 30 cents to send a transaction, which is the whole idea against Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So Litecoin comes in and they're making cheaper transactions, you know, faster block, you know, sends and everything. And there's advantage that each one has. And I think there's room in this ecosystem for all the, you know, coins, or at least 5 or 6, to really coexist and create a very, very self-sorting? Not self-sorting. Basically, they all come together and they help out the create a common goal. And that common goal is to promote cryptocurrencies. You know, there are entire markets that deal with, you know, metals. You have silver, gold, platinum, all these different, you know, metals. Aluminum, which people are surprised that aluminum is actually sold on the market, but there's all these different metals, and there's all these different blocks there's all these different cryptocurrencies that end up having blocks. But I think you're gonna see these coins going up. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I hope this first episode was kind of good. It's kind of more just me trying to get, you know, used to this. Usually I'm downstairs, if you guys are watching my videos, with the whole setup I have. If you guys can see all the stuff that I have pointed at me, trying to record me, I have multiple mics for sound quality and everything. And right now I'm just literally sitting up in my room with the, you know, handheld mic, you know, attached, because it's a very, very high quality mic, left and right sounding audio, receivers. And I'm just sitting here on my computer. So we'll see how this goes. I hope this was a good first episode. Eventually, since I will be getting a computer this Friday, I'll be ordering it. It'll probably take a week to get here unless I buy it in the store. I'm going to start interviewing people. And my goal is to eventually get some very big people in the cryptocurrency world and interview them. Because, the one thing about my videos on YouTube is it's kind of hard. I don't have a screen to really interview people, via Skype video calls. But I can do Skype audio calls. I have a podcast mic that's really nice I got from a guy. Really, it was like a $400 mic, and I got it for like $75 because he was a podcaster and trying to upgrade, and it was on Craigslist, and he was ready to get rid of it. And I just so happened to text him like 2 minutes after he posted it. And he's like, "Yeah, sure, man." And he was up in Newark, so I got that from him. So I can do those Skype calls, and that's my goal, to eventually be able to interview all the creators and all the huge people in Bitcoin, Litecoin, PPC coin, Peer coin, all these different coins, so that you guys can kind of get a perspective not only on what they write, but I can ask them the hard questions, and we can see how they respond, so you can kind of get an even more in-depth analysis on who these people are that are creating these huge multi-million-dollar coins. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the first edition of the Cryptocurrency Podcast, and have a great day.